Hey guys, my name is Tolly Bryn. You're watching The Joy of Awareness, and today I want to make a video on releasing emotional trauma. And I'm approaching this video as a complete amateur and beginner. I don't know what I'm talking about, although I really do know what I'm talking about. But the reason for that caveat is that I am still working on getting proficient at at what this is that I'm about to talk about. And the reason I want to make a video about this is I've realized that this is an incredibly important aspect to health in all areas. And it's something that I have been aware of for a long time, and I have been working on for a long time, figuring out how to dive into old trauma, into difficult feelings, sensations, emotions, diving into them and actually feeling them and releasing them. And it hasn't gone too well for me, to be honest. Like I've tried all kinds of things. I'd say taking direct action has been the most beneficial so far for doing this. So, for example, I had a lot of pent-up rage against my father, and I had my reasons for that. I won't really go too much into it, but to suffice it to say, there was a lot of trauma built up around my father and my relationship with him. So the way that I dealt with that and feel as if I found closure with that was I wrote him a long letter explaining exactly how I felt, and I sent it to him, and the response that I got was not very uplifting and not very not very enjoyable to read. And the few communications that I've had with him since then have also been they've been gaslighting, they've been sort of desensitized and distant, and it really hurt. Like it was something that I needed to do, and it was something that I needed to face, but it was difficult, and I feel as if I didn't really have the tools that I needed and the understanding that I needed to effectively deal with everything that came up through that. I was under the impression that by actually facing the issues around my father and taking direct action to facing those feelings, that I would somehow fix things. But it wasn't really that simple. And although I did feel a strong sense of catharsis from doing that, it also kind of threw me off my purpose and kind of traumatized me a bit more, simply because I didn't have the tools that I needed. And before you start thinking I'm trying to shill something, I'm really not. The reason I haven't mentioned what exactly I've been doing is simply because it's so simple that it's just so feels kind of foolish that I didn't realize it before. But I know I'm not alone in this, and I know it's not as obvious as it seems. What I've been doing is simply sitting down in meditation. I'll start with some mindfulness meditation just to calm everything down, to get in touch with my body and with my thoughts. And once I'm in a place of relative quietude and tranquility, I will call up the feelings that I believe are having the greatest impact on me. And I believe there are many theories about this, but there is some sort of ladder or hierarchy of emotions that I think it's beneficial to try to understand. And I'm not an expert at it by any means, but I believe it goes something from, apathy and fear at the bottom, and shame, feelings and emotions around that caliber at the bottom, and then at absolute top of the pyramid, at the other end of the spectrum, you might say, is peace, love, courage, and other emotions of that caliber. And I realized that in the last few months especially, I had gotten stuck in apathy. Like, I was so apathetic about everything. I had stopped exercising, I was letting my diet go, I'd stopped making videos like this. I was doing okay at work, and financially I was doing better than I had before, but still like nowhere near my potential. And I just began to just, feeling the apathy. Like, I just sat down, and I did this many times for many hours, just sitting down and just, saying like, this feeling of apathy, I'm open to feeling you. And I'm open to feeling it on a somatic level in my body. What are the sensations? What is going on? Because I think a huge issue that so many of us have has to do with repressed emotions, repressed feelings, and I'm not sure exactly how, the effects of repressing these emotions manifest, but a few that come to mind are addiction, which has been a huge problem for me, especially in the last half year. Like, things have gotten worse, not better. And I was putting a lot of work into getting over my addictions, but things had been growing steadily worse, believe it or not. And it was really scary. And I was like, I'm putting all this work into overcoming these behaviors that I don't want in my life, and somehow I'm making them worse. And the thing is, I was just battling them. I was repressing them. I was like, no, you don't feel this way. Feeling this way is not good. You can't feel this way. And that's how I was approaching it, and that was making things worse. I was pushing them further and further down, and I was getting worse and worse reactions for doing that. And it hasn't been until I changed my tactics completely that I've been able to see some real progress. And I feel as if just, speaking now, I just feel so much more alive and so much more passionate and so much more grounded in who I am, simply through doing this work. It feels as if I've been breaking through layers and layers and layers of old stagnant emotions and somatic sensations that have been stuck, like in my core, like in my stomach, in my heart, in my throat, in my face, in my shoulders, in my hips. These are all places where tension is stored, and tension is stored, I believe, for no other reason than there are emotions that you haven't been paying attention to and that you haven't been giving the respect they deserve. And emotions always deserve respect. And that's not to say that you have to give in to emotions. In fact, the opposite is true, but it does mean that you need to respect them, because there is always a reason for emotions. There are reasons for the shame and the apathy and the fear that I was feeling, and they are rooted in my childhood, in trauma that I've gone through, both in childhood and adulthood. There are so many reasons, and it always makes sense. Every single time, every single emotion that you feel makes sense. Even though you don't see the reasons for it, the human body and the human mind are infinitely rational, infinitely practical. And it takes a lot of introspection and a lot of just really striving to understand how these things work, to actually take you to the point where you can actually work through it. And the funny thing is, the way to get through it, the way to work through these emotions is incredibly simple. Just like I was telling you, just you sit down, you allow the emotions to come up, you feel them in your core, viscerally. You feel them come up. For me, I had a lot of sensations in my heart area, in my stomach area. Those were the deepest ones, I think. Then I also started feeling a lot in this area. I was just like, wow, I've got like, my throat feels as if I need to cry. You know, I was having those kinds of feelings, and I just needed to just feel them. And then slowly but surely, once the feeling was there and I was feeling it, I was sitting there, I was like, non-judgmentally, like, even though it felt uncomfortable, even though I felt sad and it felt scary and all that, I would just sit there, feel it, and then I would think, like, can I let this go? Can I let this go? And I'd like to shout out Brian, I think his name is Brian Begin from The Fearless Man. I listened to a lot of what he had to say. I think he's mostly like a pickup coach. I'm not sure exactly, but I found the absolute most value in his stuff on releasing trauma and releasing emotions. That is just gold. That's really, really good stuff. So I was, for the most part, I was just following his protocol of just releasing, just feeling these emotions and releasing them. And it's just been 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe, since I started listening to that stuff and just really applying it hours a day. And well, not hours a day, as in not formally sitting down in meditation for hours a day, but I was like, throughout the day I would sit down, take 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, and then I would take some formal sessions as well in the beginning of the day and the end of the day, where I would just really, really work through these emotions, and not only work through the emotions, but work on figuring out, like, what are the emotions? Like, what? Because apathy is also an emotion. Apathy, that feeling of hopelessness and feeling like nothing matters, like, I can just do whatever, I don't care about my health, I don't care about my body, I don't care about my future, all this stuff. This is, well, I don't know, I feel like Brian once called it more like a short-circuiting of emotions rather than specifically being an emotion, but it does have its specific sensations of numbness and you know, a sort of underlying tonality of fear. I think fear is like the next layer above the apathy, and you're trying to work through these layers to get deeper and deeper into the underlying emotions. And as I started working through that, I began seeing so many things that needed work and that needed attention in my life. And I'm so thankful for having found that work. So yeah, I'm going to continue down this path. I can see endless potential for expansion on this subject, and I'd like to make more videos as I progress. As I said before, I'm not approaching this as some kind of guru, like, oh, this is what you need to do to get through your emotions. Like, no, you're going to follow me on my journey here. I'm not some Buddha. Like, I'm I'm just a guy. I'm trying to work on my own shit, and I'm going to help you work on your shit as well, and we're going to do it together, okay? I do have expertise and skills in some areas. In other areas, I'm a total beginner, like in this. But I can just see and understand and feel that this work ties directly into the work that I have been propounding. Propounding? I don't think that's a word. The work that I've been talking about, the experiences that I've had in healing my body. This ties in directly to that, and you know, just thinking back during my 10-day fast, the longest fast that I've done, I was utilizing this to some extent. I was doing a lot of prayer, a lot of meditation, and indirectly approaching these sensations and these feelings within me through those practices. And fasting has this amazing way of allowing you to dive really, really deep into your mind if you give yourself a chance to do that. So yeah, you can expect to see some more videos from me on this subject. This is super important. This is super practical and super valuable. And before I end the video, though, I would like to talk a little bit about some things that I am planning on working on in the near future. I've been having a lot of people reach out to me with regards to topical steroid withdrawal and eczema and skin issues. So I will be putting some effort into making some more videos on those topics. I also recently did my first sort of video call, sort of counseling for a guy who needed help with fasting and with overcoming his own skin issues. And I was more than happy to help him out. And if you're interested in anything like that, I will be happy to help if I possibly can. So just reach out to me. You can send me a... I've been having some trouble figuring out a good way to have people contact me. I'll work on that in the future, but for now you can send me a form submission on my website on joyofawareness.com, and I will do my best to take a look at that regularly. The thing with that is that they won't send me a notification when somebody fills in the form, which feels pretty stupid. So if you do that, you can also just leave a comment down below saying like, hey, I contacted you through your website, just to let you know, and I will get back to you as soon as possible through email, and we'll set up some, Skype or Facebook Messenger video chat or something like that, and I'll help you out as best I can. Apart from that, check out my books, Health Simplified, Mind Reclaimed. These two books are full of value. You'll find something that you need in those books, I guarantee it. Like the first book, Health Simplified, is mainly about physical health. It is mainly about how I overcame chronic autoimmune disease through really simple means, through fasting and a simple diet, and goes down deep into my mindset, my philosophy on health, what I learned going through that stuff, and how I reached this awesome pinnacle of health. Well, I think technically my pinnacle of health was in 2019. I got so jacked, I got so ripped. During that time, I was exercising like crazy. I was eating 1 meal a day. I was building so much muscle, and I was retaining my sexual energy as well. And I just got to some pinnacle that I'm aspiring to reach once again in the near future. But yeah, life kind of got in the way of that, and I had a few traumatic experiences in the meantime, which kind of threw me off. But hey, I'm still going strong, and I'm going to get there again. But yeah, check out my books. They're also the best way to support my work, because I'm not really asking for money. I'm not asking for donations or anything like that. I want to provide value, and these books are valuable, I'm telling you. If you're interested in the stuff that I'm talking about here, you will find value in those books. They're short, they're concise, and they get straight to the point. And check them out, I implore you. Finally, share this stuff. Share my content. If you're going through topical steroid withdrawal and if you've seen some improvement through fasting and through a simple diet, through following my protocols, share the stuff. Go to the groups on Facebook, share it there, share it wherever you think you'll find people going through topical steroid withdrawal, dealing with bad eczema, and any kind of autoimmune disease, because this is the key to figuring this stuff out. It really is. This is the key, I'm telling you. And as soon as you start implementing it and seeing these results for yourself, if you haven't tried it already, you will be amazed at the power that you have over your own health. Just leave the pharmaceutical companies, the doctors, the shills, the idiots who think they know something about health. Leave them in the dust. Tell them to F off and take control of your own health. That's it for me. Stay tuned for my next videos. Peace out.